Welcome back, sweet people. Is it getting steamy in here? Yes, because we're going to be making bao buns, steam buns, and then we're going to fill them with deliciousness. And what's so fantastic about this is we've already done a bake, which is the most traditional way of baking, right? But what if you just have a stovetop and you want something luscious and bouncy and fabulous for your meats and sweets? Well, you can make a bao bun on your stovetop. So we're going to start with the flour. This time we're using bread flour. It has a 12.7% protein content, which is higher than all-purpose flour, 1% higher based on the flour that I use. And that's because we want lots of structure. To that, I'm going to add salt, a tablespoon, and this is 4 cups, but the recipe, follow the link to redstaryeast.com. All the recipes will be there. And then I have, and this is interesting, a half teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder. Oh my. So what could that be for? Because I am going to be using yeast. Well, the baking powder will be there to give us a little leavening. That's what that's there for. But the baking soda, the second I start adding these other ingredients and let them sit around, the baking soda will dissipate as far as its leavening. However, what it does provide is an alkaline environment. And what that will do is it will tenderize everything. So I'm going to whisk that together. And then I'm going to ask the yeast fairies, oh, yeast fairies, can I have some new and improved platinum yeast, please? Yippee! Yay! So in it goes. Again, instant yeast can go straight into the dry ingredients. Oh. And then we're going to do a little whisk just to distribute all that leavening. So we've got 3 leavening agents in there right now. We've got the baking powder, baking soda, and the yeast. The baking soda is only there for tenderizing. The baking powder will be a little oomph for when the steam hits it. And then the yeast is going to do all its beautiful things for flavor and leavening and bounciness, because these are bouncy baos. So that's looking good. So for the rest of our ingredients, we have some interesting things. This is our fat. This is duck fat. I can't say it too loudly because my ducks will hear. None of my ducks were harmed. But this will bring flavor and an unctuousness, but you can also use shortening if you'd rather. And then I have some sweetened condensed milk. And it will add, just a little bit of that lovely, lovely, lovely caramel flavor, but barely. And then I have a cup of milk and a half a cup of water. So this is all going to go into our mixing bowl. But if you remember, we're going to do the liquids first. So this is the milk and the half cup of water. Then we've got the sweetened condensed milk. Get yourself a little rubber spatula. When things are sticky like this, nothing works as well as this puppy. And then in goes the duck fat. And then we have that 4 cups of water, and I gave you the rest. Again, the recipe, www.redstaryeast.com. No? Oh, so I said 4 cups of water. I meant 4 cups of flour.
Sorry.
So into the bowl, now goes the flour. And then we're going to mix it for about 10 minutes. You know what I'm going to say? We're going to listen for the slap. We're going to watch for the shearing, where it kind of flattens out, and then it collects itself around the dough hook, whoop, 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 and then it slaps itself off again. Then you know that it's ready to rumble and to do its bulk ferment, its first rise to double-ish in size. I'm on number 2, so either number 2 or number 3 as far as speed, and I'll see ya when this is ready. I lied. It took longer than 10 minutes. And there's a good reason for it, because this is a dough that has a lot of fat and a lot of sweetness to it. It is an enriched dough. And that means that all the sugar and all that fat is going to impede quick gluten development, unlike the other ones that were slightly leaner that we've done. So what does that mean for you? It means that it makes it really hard to mix this by hand because it is so ticky-tacky. It's very sloppy to work by hand. But here's the good news. Platinum yeast is osmotolerant. It is built to handle this type of dough. But those other elements can impede gluten development. How, you ask? Well, I shall tell you. Duck fat has no water. at all. Neither does shortening. And so what happens when you add flour to something that is so fatty, it encapsulates some of the flour. So I call fats the spanks or the skims of flour because it just surrounds it entirely and doesn't allow anything to get in. So what you have to do is work a little harder for gluten development. And that's why it took, I'm not kidding, like 15, 20 minutes. So be gentle with your poor mixer. This puppy's warm. And just know that's what's gonna happen. And that's why it's really hard to do this by hand, because it is so ticky-tacky and it does take so long. But now it's done, and that's very exciting. I am going to transfer it to a bowl that has been sprayed, and I'm going to allow it to double in size. And then once it's doubled in size, we're going to divide it into 24 even pieces. Come on. Oh, it feels good. Feels good. And let's take a look at a dough that has risen. Oh goodness, look at that. It's risen! And because this is one of those enriched doughs, higher in fat, this always does better when it's handled cold. So I usually cover this and put it straight into the fridge and let it rise in the fridge so that the second I'm ready to use it, it'll be nice and cold and easy to handle. We're ready to divide the dough by 24. I've got to weigh it first. I don't want it to stick to that bowl. $973 grams divided by 24 is, somebody tell me, 40.5. So we're looking for 40-ish grams per little round. I have a sheet pan, 2 in fact, that I have covered with little squares of parchment. Each piece of parchment is going to get a bao bun, or the pre-shaped bao bun. And before I forget, I'm going to spray all of them with a little nonstick spray. So I'm going to divide this into 3, and it'll be 8 pieces per. So this is going to be 3. So I zero it out so that I know exactly how much each piece weighs, and I'm going to guess. Is this going to be my size? What's your guess? What's your guess? Is this over or under?
Under 33.
That's 33? It's 57. I was so sure you were going to be right. I'm like, you've got this weird gift. 45, 44, 39, oh jeepers. I'm gonna keep doing this, 24 in total. I'll come back when all of them are ready to be shaped. Why hello, you've come by at just the right time. I'm starting to pre-shape my little buns. So what I do first is I make them into a round, just like you would a dinner roll. And I just take the dough and I stretch it out, and then I make a little sachet on top. Boom, boom, boom. And I essentially seal it up. Actually, it looks like a dumpling. And I'll do 2 of them at a time because I can, because I'm fancy that way. But again, a little sachet. And then I put them seam side down. And then I make a cage, a little fist, not a fist, a cage, a little claw with my hands. And then I have my pads of my palm right kind of touching the top, claw, and then I turn to seal that seam and make them really round. 2 little cute balls. They're gonna go on the sprayed little parchment. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. It's a slow motion moment here. I know it. Stretch, sachet, seam down, stretch, pinch and sachet. Don't put any flour down. If anything, you can put a little nonstick spray, but you probably will not need it. If it's cool enough, you won't need it. And our next step will be putting them in the fridge again, and then rolling them into an oval, folding them in half, and then letting them proof until double. I have a few of my little round guys here. So I put them in the refrigerator not to proof or anything. I just put them in there to get cold again. So 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. Because it just makes them easier to roll out. And I'll show you what I do. So remember our little round guy, and the seam is on the bottom. I'm going to turn it around so that now the seam is on the top. And you can use your fingers to do this as well, but this is the perfect pin for my bao. So I start in the middle, I press down, and I go back. Oh, see, I might have to use my fingers because it's sticking. Here you go. Back and forth. And that's the oval I want. And then I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to tap, 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 just to seal. And then I'm going to put it back on its parchment. Here. This wants to be man-handled or lady-handled. So that's how I'll do it. So seam up. And then if I see any errant bubbles, I'm just going to pop them. I don't want that to happen yet. So that's the oval I want, and then I'm going to fold it in half towards me and then tap, tap, tap. Here. And it will proof in that shape. Not in the round shape, but in the halved shape. If you want to get them really cool quickly, you can actually put the tray in the freezer as well. Just don't forget them in there. You're just leaving them in there for like a minute or two just to cool down briefly. Now, once all those are done, you're going to cover it up and allow that to proof at room temperature until doubled in size and poofy, like this. Then you're going to get a pot ready. A wok style pot is best because on top of it you're going to be putting your bamboo steamer, like so. I have tried other steaming ways. This is the only way, the easiest and best way. And these are not expensive, and you end up using them for a ton of things. So it's worthy of the investment. It is big, so storage might be an issue, but you'll end up finding a million ways to use it. So medium heat, we want to get a simmer. And I've already lined the bottom. It's got 2 levels. And now I'm going to line this one. And I do 6 or 7 at a time. Gently pick it up. And then the rest that aren't being steamed, I would cover this again and put it in the refrigerator so they don't overproof. I'm going to cover it. And I'm not going to put it on this until this is simmering. And then once I put it on top, 15 minutes. Don't pick this up, don't do anything. 15 minutes. Have oven gloves or a kitchen towel ready because when you take it off, it's going to be hot and steamy. Also, when you're taking it off, either have it like a counter right next to it that you're going to put it on, or if you're going to have to walk with it, make sure that you're wearing shoes. Not flip-flops, not barefoot, because that hot condensation is gonna burn your tootsies. So let's get this steamy, and then we'll get to steaming. It's steamy, I see a simmer, so it's ready. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes because I can't see anything, and I don't wanna lift the lid. So 15 minutes it will be, and I will see you then. They're beautiful. Ready? Yeah. Well, some of them not so beautiful. Sorry. This is just the happiest little bao bun. Ow, ow. Ow, bao. I can do it. I can do it. Oh. Come to mama. Yes. That's bouncy and happy. Come on. That's exactly what I want to see. Oh, my glasses. I can't see, but I can smell. That's all I need right now. Aren't they adorable? So how many can I get on a plate? I'm going to go for 4. And now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to fill them with. I have a little short rib that has been marinated in white wine and goodness and then braised for hours and hours and hours. And then I add a little butter because there's not enough fat in short ribs. Not. And then this is just a little spicy, vinegary coleslaw to cut through all that fat. And then we've got our bouncy baos. So let's see if we can open it up. Yeah. Look at that. It's going, hello. I'm yummy. And then a decent amount of the short rib just tucked right in. And then a sousson, a little coleslaw. And that is the perfect bite. Bites. Or bite, you know, no judgment. Would you like some? I think I have some takers. Who wants one? Am I gonna feed somebody? That's so unfair when somebody's chewing. I'm gonna say,
It's very good.
it's very good. Bouncy, hopefully.
It is bouncy.
And the great thing is they're baked all the way through, but they don't take on any color at all. So they stay this pale, but they're bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. If you like this video and this series, punch down, like, and subscribe. If you're interested in more in-depth classes, both in person and online, visit sugargliderkitchen.com. Hey, don't forget to punch down those like and subscribe buttons.